All year, Western Suburbs have scored plenty of points, but forgotten how to tackle. The worst defence in the league has shot holes in their season, but lately there have been signs of renewed energy and resolve to take them into 95. Jim Serdaris, West's best all season, is in contention for a kangaroo tour. Glenn Grief never shirks the hard yakka, and Stephen Carney, bound for the Auckland Warriors, would like to leave a lasting impression. Half Josh White has the zip to spark his backline. Winger Paul Smith has been a success story with 18 tries, and reliable Andrew Leeds is always looking to join the attack. Canterbury can wrap up the minor premiership with a win today. In an excellent season, the Bulldogs have set the pace with 17 wins and only 4 losses. Burley Martin Bella delivers the hard yards. Jason Smith has to be among the most improved of the year, and Jim Dimmock pops up everywhere and always where he's needed. The amazing Terry Lamb today runs out for his 304th grade game to break the all-time record. The robust Jared McCracken, straight running and smash hitting, and Daryl Halligan well on the way to being the leading point scorer in the league for the 4th year in a row. Live from Campbelltown, the Magpies versus the Bulldogs. A big day for Terry Lamb. A warm day has brought a big crowd out here at Campbelltown. Hello everyone, glad you could join us. Now if this was English Soccer's Premier League, first past the post, Canterbury would be the champion club for 1994 with a win today. Instead they have to go through semi-finals to achieve that, but such a skillful outfit up against the renewed enthusiasm of West today. Jacko, you'd still have to go with Canterbury.
I think they've got a lot more to play for today. Obviously the minor premiership had a chance for a couple of weeks break before the semi-finals. Also the fact that if they win today, they'll sew up the club championships. Terry Lamb playing his record-breaking 304th game, and of course Daryl Halligan only 3 points away from breaking Steve Gearon's record. But the only thing they'll be after today is the 2 points and the minor premiership.
Well, there is a big crowd, a good crowd here today, but I think there's as many Canterbury supporters as West supporters, Debbie Spillane.
Yes, Warren, I think they're offering some sort of deal for a fair number of Canterbury supporters to come along today and support the big Terry Lamb celebration. And also the weather's fantastic, so that'd help. I mean, it really feels like spring has sprung. We've got a little bit of a breeze that'll be blowing left to right on your screen. Canterbury won the toss and elected to run into it in the first half or so, I'm told. Speaking of spring being sprung, I've got a man like a tightly coiled spring next to me here. And Peter, you've already pounced on the fact that West have picked the big prop, Scott Hardy, in the centres, and that'll make for an interesting afternoon.
Very unusual move by West. He probably measures up on the scales around Mal Meninga's weight, but whether he's agile enough today to counter Canterbury centre, Stephen Hughes and Jared McCracken, well, only time will tell.
Okay, let's talk Terry Lamb, because it's his big day. You know, most players that attain greatness do it through representative football. Terry's done it a bit differently. Do you think you can be as great a player just through club football?
Most certainly. I think he's an unselfish player, Terry. He's loyal. He's always been to his club, and he'd be the best premiership player, in my opinion, ever in terms of consistency.
Okay, says it all. Back to you, Warren and Jacko.
That's a tremendous rap from Johnny Peard for Terry Lamb. He's actually playing his 307th grade game, his 304th first grade game. Just 2 appearances in under 21s and 1 in reserve grade. The Magpies will come out on their home ground first. Jim Serdaris, the current skipper. Andrew Leeds at fullback, Paul Smith on one wing, Darren Willis and Scott Hardy in the centres. I think Hardy might actually only be out there as a roost for reserve grade. Jason Eadie on the wing, Andrew Willis at 5'8", Josh White halfback, Mark Affleck coming into the side in jersey 40, Bill Dunn and Stephen Carney in the second row because Paul Langmack is out injured, Glenn Grief, Jim Serdaris and Brent Stewart the front rowers. What a good season Jim Serdaris has had, and alongside him the club captain Andrew Leeds. Now this is the moment a lot of people have turned up for today. Once the whistle blows, Terry Lamb will be into his 304th first grade game. Scott Wilson is the Canterbury fullback, Jason Williams on the wing, Stephen Hughes alongside Jared McCracken in the centres, the point-scoring wizard Daryl Halligan on the wing, Terry Lamb 5'8", Colin Mounter at halfback, Jim Dimmock in at lock forward, Dean Pay and Jason Smith in the second row, Darren Britt is back from injury in the front row with Martin Bella and Jason Hetherington. Well, it's all been said. What a magnificent club player Terry Lamb has been, starting out with Western Suburbs. In fact, I think I had the honour of playing alongside Terry in his first grade match back in 1980 against Balmain, and then moving after 3 seasons on to Canterbury, where he's had 11 years, and what a career, Jacko.
Well, superlatives can't really describe Terry Lamb's career. His football feet speak for themselves, but I think the thing about Terry Lamb is that he doesn't expect to be treated any different, and every week he goes out in the football field he expects to give his best, and if he doesn't give his best he's disappointed. And it's games like this, when there isn't big crowds, there's not a big, you know, it's not a big match in terms of premiership games. That's when Terry Lamb comes to the fore. That's when he plays his football week in, week out.
During the week of the Commonwealth Games, we've had the pleasure of hearing the Australian anthem many times, and certainly a lot of pride around the nation. Let's hear it again.
Oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with gold, wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea.
Tremendous applause there, and I believe those four singers are from the Granville Boys High School. Referee today is Bill Harrigan, all wired up for sound. And the boys know that they are heading into summer because let's hope that this game of football lives up to some of the magnificent action we have seen during the year. And the first touch of the ball goes to Terry Lamb. Now Dean Pay comes into some strong Magpie defence. This west side a little knocked around by a few injuries, with Steve Georgalis, one of their better players, out. Also Paul Langmack out. So Georgalis had been playing at lock forward in recent weeks. A little bit of disruption to their pack, but it has a bit of size about it. Canterbury pretty much unchanged, back to full strength with Darren Britt back in the front row. Hetherington now dashes up towards halfway.
And Warren, you'll notice number 41, Brandon Pearson, is out there. When the reserve grade side didn't qualify for the 5, Wayne Ellis has just told me decided to put him straight into the starting lineup. There's no concern about him qualifying for the finals and reserves anymore.
So now Andrew Leeds brings it back. I think that was always pretty much the plan, though, wasn't it, Debbie?
Yeah, that's right.
But being on the bench, he could qualify for reserve grade should they go on.
So Peardy can stop getting excited about seeing Scott Hardy in the centres. It may not happen now.
Well, it would have been an awesome sight. The baby Dallas. Of course, West's disappointed in reserve grade. They were hoping for a win over Canterbury to move into a playoff or give themselves a chance of a playoff, but losing reserve grade, that wasn't to be. The West in possession just short of halfway. Played back by Carney. Now Josh White. White stab kicks down towards Scott Wilson. The bounce goes away from Wilson into the corner. Plenty of chasers down there. Wilson is elusive, but they're there to trap him. Good chase by Jason Eade and also Darren Willis. Willis playing in the centres today, usually better known on the wing.
Well, good start to Western Suburbs. Good start to Canterbury-Bankstown for that matter. Both pretty solid up the front. Might be wondering why the Canterbury-Bankstown, there's the President's Cup score, 36-22. Canterbury-Bankstown wrapping up a top 3 spot there. And in the reserve grade, 34-14 to Canterbury-Bankstown as well, also wrapping up a top 3 spot. So good efforts by the lower grades for the doggies. Let's get Marty Bella taking the ball up there. Just quickly, the Canterbury-Bankstown side have got black armbands on, and the reason for that is Robert Ralph, who's a reserve grade player for Canterbury-Bankstown and a fine player. His father died last night, and we'd like to send our condolences to the Ralph family. And Robert actually played in reserve grade today. So Mrs. Ralph, you've got a very brave son there, and we certainly give you all our sympathy and hope things go okay in the next couple of days.
Certainly agree with that. And it's been a tremendous club effort by Canterbury. If they win the first grade match, Jacko, they wrap up the club championship. Manly won't be able to overtake them.
Yeah, for the second year running. So it's a big rap to Chris Anderson and all the players.
Here's Serdaris, tackled by McCracken, scraped to ground, and Bella picks up the loose ball. Good work by Martin Bella, but West was slow to get there. Now Darren Britt playing against his old club, and he's cut down by Serdaris. Now Dean Pay takes it up. For and against record. Shows us a few surprising things. In attack, West not all that far behind Canterbury, 427 to 497. But look at the defensive record of West, the worst in the competition. They've given a 610 points Canterbury much tougher than that to crack, 3:28.
And Melee here, Jimmy Dimmick getting called out by the referee. Interesting to see what happens here. Now have a look at it. Jimmy Dimmick just taking the football up. Glenn Grief's in there. There's a bit of a hand in the face, not much in it. And Glenn Grief wants to go on with it. Referee finds a knock on. It'll be a Western Suburbs feed.
An extraordinary statistic considering the relative positions of the two teams on the table. Here's a penalty against Canterbury inside the 5 metres from the scrum base there, I think is the call. But Wests have actually outscored Canterbury-Bankstown in terms of tries this season. Wests have scored 78 tries to Canterbury 74. There's the Canterbury backs up too quick. But in defence, Wests have conceded 109 tries to Canterbury's 58. So you wonder, what are Wests doing down the ladder in 12th position and Canterbury heading for the minor premiership in terms of try-scoring ability? I guess you look to the wing and see Daryl Halligan's big right boot, and that tells part of the story. Brent Stewart taking it forward for West. They're 30 metres out. Serdaris gets it to Grief. Grief knocks Bella away, but there's more tacklers there impeding his path. Dimmick was in there. Eade slips it back to Carney. Leeds can't take it. But that might have been Willis, Andrew Willis, the 5'8", the first man working the move there for West. Now Jason Williams weaving in amongst the West forwards towards centre field, taken by the front rowers, Grief and Stewart. Now Britt. Darren Britt, who's always been a tough front rower, but his ball skills seem to be improving with every game. So far he's been prepared to just hit it up. Now working it wide with Jason Smith, looked inside, but Bill Dunn, the former Illawarra player, blocked his path. Wayne Ellis, the caretaker coach for West, taking over from Warren Ryan 6 weeks ago, and next year it will be Tom Radonicus. Last tackle coming up for Canterbury, just on halfway. Jason Smith kicks straight down the throat of Andrew Leeds. Lamb there, doesn't make the tackle. Hetherington manages to grab a sock and pulls Leeds down. No points on the board after 5 minutes as Paul Smith has had a remarkable season, really. He scored 18 tries in a team that is coming 12th on the ladder.
Yes, unfortunately for Western Suburbs, there's another side to rugby league. That's called defence. Been very ordinary in that department. And if they're not a little bit better today, the Doggies could put some points on them.
Stephen Carney. Even more so, Jacko, when you think that Warren Ryan was renowned as the toughest defensive coach of the 80s. Coached Canterbury, of course, to a grand final win. That kick coming off the corner post, and that's ruled as touching goal.
There's nothing in it so far. Not a bad little kick there, a little bit unlucky. There it is, nice little stab kick through, trying to get it in over touch or perhaps stop in the in-goal area, but that post gets in the way.
Now Martin Bella steamrolls a couple of metres, didn't cause too much trouble for the defence. Britt pops it back nicely to Hetherington, who is following. Chris Anderson watching on, the Canterbury coach.
The one at the back, not the one in the front.
Here's Lamb going wide, chance out there too for Williams, but Smith covered him more nicely. Just showed him the sideline, stayed inside him.
A couple more years, Peter, he might look like that.
Coaching.
Pollamouta, Canterbury flat-footed here. Pay, Dimmick, Smith. There's the back row trio working off each other, but the West defence was up in their face.
And that was a good offload before by Darren Britt. They've got three tremendous players in the back row that can all offload. As Canterbury put one out on the full, but Darren Britt shows that he has got potential and he can offload a ball. That's going to be handy at semi-final time.
Well, the whole team can, the whole pack can. I think that's a big plus that Canterbury got over a number of the other semi-final contenders. They've got back rowers and front rowers that can really unload the ball and are given the encouragement to unload the football.
Yeah, when he was at West, Peter, I just thought he went up too much by himself. He's always had the ability to offload the ball, but he's getting a lot more support from Canterbury.
Now Andrew Willis takes on Terry Lamb and McCracken. They drag him to ground. It's a tough ask to break those two. Jared McCracken's kick out on the full, giving possession to West from the scrum, and they're 30 metres out. Jim Serdaris in a bit of trouble.
I was just going to say, Jacko, and it's an eight-man pack that they can do that with too, with Gillies and Brokenshire on the bench.
Sure.
Now Stewart plays it 25 metres out. Dunn quickly wide to Serdaris, who's recovered okay, and Lamb Ball and all tackle, rock solid, puts him on the ground. Done to dummy half. Andrew Willis pops, well, it's Carney popping the kick through and dived on by Canterbury, but knocked on by Hetherington. Couldn't quite gather it cleanly. So it'll be another scrum feed to West, 20 metres out.
There's Willis unloading to Carney, just trying to put a little grubber kick through. Too much traffic there to be trying that double knock on. Interesting with the referee today, Warren. Bill Harrigan getting the job today. And of course the big game tomorrow, Canberra and Manly at Brookvale. Greg McCallum looks like getting that job. Does that mean that Greg McCallum's got his nose in front as far as the semi-finals and the grand final goes at this stage? I would have thought after the performances this year that Harrigan was probably rated #1, so that's interesting to keep a look at.
Yes, very interesting development there as Dimmock takes it 10 metres short of halfway. And now Smith slips it back inside to Pay. The ball is away from Wilson. Carney can't get hold of it. West have gathered it in. And the referee says West didn't knock it on. It was all Canterbury's problem.
A couple of mistakes there from Canterbury. Kick out on the full. Some loose passing. Chris Anderson wouldn't be happy with that.
It's a fairly encouraging start for West too, Peter.
Yeah, it has been. They've probably shown already, Peardy, that they're not going to throw the towel in today. The Canterbury-Bankstown will have to earn their win.
Yeah, they're working away with very good control.
Affleck now. He's 35 metres out. Serdaris goes wide to White. He keeps it going even wider. Willis now straightens it up. Lamb and Dimmock take him to ground. Now Josh White puts it up high. Wilson going back to the post. The kick could be too deep. It is way over the dead ball line. White kicking from dummy half, but misjudging. No real wind to worry about, is there, John?
Not at all, Warren. I'd say West would have a slight advantage, I think, with the wind, but I don't think it'll be a contributing factor.
Bella. Dunn, who hasn't had many opportunities in first grade this season after joining from the Steelers. Britt a little wider this time. Flips it away to McCracken. And now to Halligan on the right wing.
They need to go wide now, Canterbury-Bankstown.
Pollamouta, Lamb. And it's come loose. Again, a misunderstanding as Lamb had two runners. They seem to get in each other's road, and West get it. Few handling errors from Canterbury early in this match. 10 minutes gone, no points on the board. Serdaris slips it back to Darren Willis. And he is strongly tackled by Jason Smith. Not a point has been scored as yet. Tight opening to this match. White to Pearson, to Leeds now. Brandon Pearson, young man. West believe he's got a big future. Now Smith goes infield, but he runs into the burly arms of Martin Bella. Serdaris flicks it neatly to Stephen Carney. He almost finds a bit of a weakness there. Slips it back. Smith has knocked it on. There was a play on. No, the referee now rules the initial knock on. It was a little low as it came back from Stephen Carney, who has captained New Zealand already.
Yeah, he is trying to bust a tackle, tries to unload a ball there, a little bit low. It was Willis came up with the drop ball, but Darren Britt also came up with the fumble. Canterbury will get the feed, but Stephen Carney off to the Auckland Warriors next year. Although I think he is an outstanding prospect, he's still got a lot of work to do on his football.
Now McCracken and Darren Willis had to come at him a second time. Early in the season, Stephen Carney was pretty quiet. He had an accident in the off-season and took him a while to recover, but he seems to have got stronger as the season's gone on. Now Dimmock turns it inside to Britt. He finds Pollamouta. Lamb was also there. Lamb was on the move. Pollamouta was flat-footed, but the pass came to Pollamouta. Bella. Canterbury needs some strong performances from him in the weeks ahead. Mark Brokenshire on the bench. Last tackle now. Smith pops it through. Here comes Williams. Williams has got it. Half back inside. And away goes Stephen Hughes. Unopposed to score the first points of the match. Lovely little kick. Beautifully gathered by Jason Williams. And perfect positioning from Stephen Hughes. Without Hughes, all the good work was going to come to nothing. He was inside. He saw the danger for the West defence. Look at this lovely little kick from the multi-skilled Jason Smith. Back goes Smith, but even quicker comes Williams. The fullback comes to the winger, and inside, unmarked, is Stephen Hughes.
Well, Stephen Hughes, he scored 2 tries last week. Fantastic. Here's a little kick now. Watch the West winger. Smith was up in the line. Jason Smith The other Smith recognised that, and that's great hands by Jason Williams, catching and passing in the one motion, very hard to do. And Stephen Hughes, Johnny on the spot again, under the post. Daryl Halligan will eat this one for breakfast.
Stephen Hughes, the 20-year-old son of the Canterbury 5/8 of years gone by, Gary Hughes, who's watching here today. And Daryl Halligan puts it through. So first bite goes to the Doggies. It's 6-0 after 13 minutes.
Yeah, not a bad place to do a short kick on the short side of the field, because that winger, Paul Smith, was up. But brilliant hands by Jason Williams inside to Stephen Hughes once again. But good tactics, and just showing Jason Smith's got so much talent, just pulling another one out of his repertoire.
And Jacko, I know you were talking to Chris Anderson after the game last week, and you think he's just a little bit personally chuffed about Stephen Hughes' success, given all the drama?
Well, I think he might be, yeah.
He seemed to have the cat that swallowed the canary look about him last Sunday night.
Yeah,
Saturday night.
He was happy with his performance. I think he was, Debbie, I think, to be honest, he was just happy with the fact that Stephen's really starting to get the hang of first grade now, more so than the other drama concerning Darren Smith, and Stephen's developing into a fine centre.
Wayne Ellis on the two-way, sending instructions. Well, where is he? I think he's down on the sideline, is he? So where's he sending the instructions to?
He's trying to look like a cake.
He's done a good job, Wayne Ellis. I think
Certainly has.
Everybody at Western Suburbs has been pleasantly surprised by his performance in the coaching role.
He's a popular man round this way. He does a lot of work with the development of the kids.
Actually,
tribute to him.
He was on the radio getting him to sweep out the dressing rooms because he's the caretaker coach.
He's also been doing quite a bit of recruiting, trying to find some new young players for West, as Terry Lamb puts that kick down to the corner. Here comes Halligan. Leeds gets to it first. And Halligan makes a very good tackle on the fullback. We've got Brian Smith, the St George coach, in the ABC radio box alongside us, and he was watching the replay of the try, and he seemed to be suggesting Jason Williams was about 6 inches in front of the kick of Jason Smith in the lead-up to the try. But I didn't notice it myself.
I didn't notice it, Warren.
I didn't look for it, I must say.
Have a look at this one, Warren. Jimmy Serdaris has really milked that one. He pushed it into Terry Lamb. I guess the referee had no option, but
I think
actually I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Peardy. That was, I mean, you can't blame anyone for milking a penalty around that play-the-ball area, but...
No, Terry Lamb did make an effort to get to the side of the play-the-ball.
That was a very, 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 very good effort by Jim Serdaris.
Brent Stewart hits it up for West, and now it's Glenn Grief. Pops it up nicely to Serdaris. White quickly flings it wide. Willis leads us up there. It's gone wide of Darren Willis, and Halligan's after him. There's a touch judge in. He may be saying there was a push in the back. Certainly a battle there as Willis and Halligan were vying to get to the ball first. And there it is. A pull on the jersey from Halligan was the call.
This is Jason Eade. We've just been watching him struggling with a dislocated finger. I've been trying not to watch him, actually.
Turn away, everyone.
Here we see it here, the penalty. There's Daryl Halligan just grabbing hold of Willis by the jersey. Not much in it. But the touch judge on the ball comes up with the penalty. Pretty loose pass by the west side. There's another look at it there. Daryl Halligan just grabbing hold of his duds. Darren Willis came up with the drop ball anyway. So a lucky let off there for West. A couple of lucky penalties, really.
Penalties are 3-0 to the Magpies. 6-0 on the scoreboard to Canterbury after 17 minutes. And Canterbury just ahead in the, well, in fact, well ahead in the metres gained, and having just a little more ball.
Well, there's a mistake by Josh White under no pressure. Once again, I probably doubt whether this actually went forward. Well, it actually went back. I mean, do you agree with me? That went back?
Yep.
Peardy went back?
Yeah, most certainly.
I don't know how they get a knock on from that. He must be disappointed, Josh White.
Well, he fumbled it forward, but he's caught it. If he caught it, it would have been play on, surely.
Yes, Jacko, I thought it went back too.
Thanks, Deb. Sorry.
4 out of 4. Jacko, you're right. Bill Harrigan. See you later.
I don't mind if you don't ask.
Here's Dean Payne now. He's 8 short of halfway. Canterbury yet to really get into gear as Eade sprints across field to take up his position on the wing with a finger back in place. McCracken running straight.
Good tackle by Serdaris, Warren. He's well known for his ball skills and his deception round.
Oh, lovely ball from Jason Smith to Williams. There's Lamb inside. Lamb will race away. He should have the speed to go to the line. He will. Terry Lamb scores. How many tries is that in the career now? There's an awful lot of them. 148 tries he has scored before that one. Make it 149. 1,375 points now for Terry Lamb, and he's always there in support.
Here he is, Jason Smith. He spots that there's no one marking up on Jason Williams. What a great long ball. He was okay, a little bit flat. Jason Williams had 1, 2, 3 Canterbury-Bankstown support players, but who's he give it to? Barbar, the man on the spot all the time. Another try to Terry Lamb.
And there were 3 other Canterbury players alongside waiting, but what a beautiful ball, what tremendous vision from Jason Smith. Williams was there to accept it, a bullet-like pass out to him. Terry Lamb just lost his balance for a moment, almost tripped, and took a while to get into stride, but he made it to the line. But there were plenty of options there to score that try for Canterbury. 10 points to 0. Well, we're not allowed to use the term the little master for Terry Lamb because some of the traditionals blow up and say that that's reserved for Clive Churchill, but he's got to go close to earning that title, hasn't he? Daryl Halligan to attempt the conversion.
The little beauty will do me. How's that, Warren? We're allowed to use that, the little beauty?
Terry Lamb, the only player to play all the games on the Kangaroo Tour of 1986, and he probably could have made another Kangaroo Tour or more. Halligan 10 metres in from touch. Hits it sweetly, and it's through. 10 points, or I should say 12 points to 0 in favour of Canterbury at the 20-minute mark.
And Canterbury again catching West short out. Look at the 41, he went in there. Perhaps he should have stayed out on Bella, and they all could have slid out, but Jason Smith showing great awareness, and there's the little champion himself over for just another try for Canterbury. He's been a wonderful clubman, loyal. What more can you say about him?
Leeds will restart for all their determined efforts. West's in trouble, down by 2 converted tries. Bella winds up, comes back at Carney. Willis over the top. Pay. He managed to get away from Serdaris, but there were more waiting for him. Stewart, Brief, and Dunn. Now Britt. Dummies. Did a variation, finds Wilson inside. They've opened them up. There's more support. It's Hetherington. Pops it up for Lamb. He can't hang on to it. And away goes Smith for West. This is trouble. Can he get away from Pollamouta? No. Down on halfway. Lovely piece of work by Darren Britt and Scott Wilson to cut another hole in West defence. Now penalty goes against Pollamouta, who has hurt himself in tackling Leeds, but that could have been a try-saving tackle.
He looks in all sorts of trouble. There's Paul Smith getting tackled, but there was a tremendous break by Canterbury down the centre of the field. I think Scotty Wilson probably passed a little bit too early. Craig Pollamouta, he looks like he's got something wrong with his head. Here's the break. It's a great break here. Darren Britt, there he is. What a great ball inside. Oh, it's a tremendous ball. Scotty Wilson always in spot. And he just gets rid of that ball a little early, I thought. Probably didn't suck the player in enough. They were able to get to Jason Hetherington. And there's Craig Pollamouta.
I wonder whether Pollamouta's head hit the ground in making the tackle. He's a phlegmatic character, Chris Anderson. His face doesn't change much, does it? Just chews a little harder on the gum if they're losing.
By the way, I just checked with Canterbury. I was pretty sure that was the situation, but Daryl Halligan getting that second goal has now made him the leading club scorer, point scorer in the history of the club, beating Steve Gearan.
It's a tremendous effort by Halligan.
So it's 243 points for the season so far, and he's still going.
Well, unless Matthew Ridge has a huge day tomorrow, Halligan will be the leading point scorer for the 4th season in a row.
Well, you couldn't see Manly racking up a whole heap of points against Canberra. I think it's home and hosed, that one.
Yep, I'd say so. Serdaris to White. They're short here, Canterbury, and it goes out to Eade. Takes it well, still going, Jason Eade. It was a well-worked play by West to catch them short. It was Lamb in cover defence, got there. Carney to Dunn. Pops it up nicely. Back it comes from Willis. This is a chance for West as it comes out to Smith. Smith getting the pass from the front rower, Stewart. The Canterbury defence scrambled across. 11 metres out West. Serdaris. Canterbury the line, stretched straight across, moving up well. Dunn can't go through. One more tackle for the Magpies now. To the blind side with White. Pops it through, rebound. I think it was played at by Pay. It is 6 more tackles and dived on by Brent Stewart for Wests.
So the doggies have to roll the sleeves up and defend. Here, there's a penalty, I think.
I think he struck before the ball was on the ground here, Dean Pay. It was a good idea. He almost caused the Wests error. Just striking a little early.
Here's a look at it now.
Well, maybe not. Unless, was he facing up directly in front?
Well, I honestly think he seemed to take his foot back and then kick through at the ball, whereas you're not actually allowed to kick at the ball. You can only strike at the ball. I think Bill Harrigan thought that was more of a kick than a strike. But the Doggies, another 6 tackles to defend.
Well, you can kick the ball in any direction. It's whether he lifted his foot too early. Here's a chance for West anyway. 8 metres out from the posts. White. West yet to score so far. The pass was intended for Leeds. He went without it. And Williams has got it for Canterbury.
He's in that hole too, Leeds. Pass didn't hit him on the chest. If it did, it was try time.
Canterbury trying to clear it away from their own 20. That's Scott Hardy. He'll be wearing number 4, but he's definitely not a centre. Willis is calling on the far side. He feels that Canterbury might attack wide here. Polamatta gives it to McCracken. McCracken thunders over the top of Willis, the man who was calling for help. He hung on to him grimly, though. Bella, still going, Bella. He's got Halligan there. Turns inside. He realises Halligan's right on the touchline. Good run, Martin Bella. Up to halfway. Last tackle now for Canterbury. Lamb tries the chip. It's off Carney. Carney knocks it back to Leeds. Well, luckily, Carney seemed to feel he wasn't allowed to take that ball after it had bounced off his body. Maybe Leeds called for it. Oh. Bella, cruncher.
Well, that's a great hit by Marty Bella. Came up with one last week on Peter Johnson. Have a look at this one for a bone cruncher. Oh!
Jason Eade will go back to the wing and stay there after that.
Typical winger, Warren.
He was in there. Here's Carney. Off McCracken's hand. McCracken loses it. He nearly held on. Dunn's got it under his back, and Harrigan says he can keep it. McCracken very nearly intercepted. Oh, Willis, he's knocked that on. He dragged it forward. That's a bad mistake on the first tackle. Serdaris disputing it, but I think Bill Harrigan's got it right.
Well, Darren Willis is the man involved there on the first tackle, as you said, Warren. Pretty critical area. There he is. So I'll tell you what, Scott Hardy's getting ready to come on. Go right in a Cowboys and Indians movie, wouldn't he, as Hercules or something? Or Geronimo, sorry.
Hercules and Cowboys and Indians.
Different Indians.
What cartoons have you been watching? He's coming on to replace Bill Dunn, Scott Hardy.
McCracken. Of course, the early change by West used up one of their interchanges. Now a player will be called out for a high tackle. It's Grief. Or is it Grief?
No, it's Willis, I think. There's McCracken taking the ball up. Willis just climbing up a little high around the neck. That certainly wouldn't hurt Jared McCracken. The referee getting in. Having to actually jump up in the air to get around his throat.
First penalty of the match to Canterbury. West with the penalties 5-1 at this stage. Canterbury leading 12-0 after 26 minutes. Bella leaves.
And Mark Brockenshire has come on for Canterbury.
Immediately, as you said, Debbie, Mark Brockenshire, first touch of the football, manages to flop it back to Craig Polamatta.
Very nicely. 12-0 to the Bulldogs. Smith running off Pay, and Pay was taken out by Andrew Willis as he got it away. Lamb, now Britt in centre field, charges at them, pops it up looking for Wilson, he's there, Lamb's there too. West defence closes just in time. Now it's knocked back by Hetherington, is it? Yes, it's play on. Fumble, but he fumbled it backwards. West right on the goal line. Canterbury stretched to the right. Polamatta gives it to Dimmick. He's ducked by Serdaris. Polamatta, they're still short on the left. Polamatta goes there. Polamatta for the line. He's over. No, lost it. Lost it in the tackle. West very slow to cover the far side of the field. And Canterbury very nearly scoring.
There he is, Craig Polamatta ducking out, seeing a huge gap, comes off his left foot. And does he get the ball down? Well, that's a try for mine. From the head-on angle, where's the in-goal touch, Judge? That was a fair try. I'd like to have another look at that one. Craig Polamatta very unlucky there. He protested to Bill Harrigan, but didn't want to say too much. Here it is again. Now watch
all
this.
You need is downward pressure.
Downward pressure on the football. There's the try line. Well, I think that's a try.
What do you reckon, John?
Well, he made contact with his elbow in the end. I think you've got to make contact with the ground, the ball on the ground, with your hand. I think it was a good decision.
Very close. Just whether or not they seemed to lose it. It was, I think, downward pressure from your body, isn't it? From your body, but I'm just not too sure whether it started to creep horizontally a little early. But a touch and go, tough decision either way. Referee ruled it no try, that's the way it's going to stand. And now a turnover of the ball as it comes up to Stephen Hughes from that kick. Dimmock. Williams hunting around, finds McCracken. Back to Polymouta, starting to get more and more involved now.
Incredible strength, Craig Polymouta. We saw him break a few tackles last week. He just keeps those legs pumping. Strong little guy, very determined. Makes a lot of breaks.
And the good news is, as you said, he didn't go on with arguing with the referee there, because that's the last thing they need at this stage of the season.
Britt to Pay to Smith. Lamb's there. Somehow he got the ball. He's flicked that forward, Terry Lamb. Wasn't the last tackle. But he knew that the man outside him was unmarked.
What about that for a pass from Jason Smith? That's incredible. He's just got the ability to do that.
That's the problem area, Peter, for most teams, I think, the Canterbury back row with all their skill. But Darren Britt coming up with some tremendous offloads today.
Yeah, he's really missed last week, Peardy. I think I mentioned that during the call. They miss his go forward. They miss his enthusiasm. He always turns up to take the football. And Scotty Wilson's having a field day off him at the moment.
Now Scott Hardy beat McCracken. Canterbury missing a couple of tackles. Josh White managed to slip past Terry Lamb from the scrum base. Now Brent Stewart up to halfway. And Canterbury well on top in the metres gained, 722 to 467, despite the fact they've only had a little more ball than West, so they're using it well. Those offloads are causing West defence a lot of problems. Scored 2 tries already, Canterbury, as it goes to Leeds. Plenty of determination from both teams. Wests are there to play today, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, Canterbury are outskilling them on occasions.
Can't deny that.
High kick from Serdaris. Wilson waits nervously, just hangs on, loses it now. Polymouta cleans up. West have got it. West need a quick play the ball. Canterbury watching, still coming back onside. Serdaris had to go himself, can't get there. Where's his winger or Willis? Willis couldn't position himself. Serdaris trying to fight him hands free. Canterbury come off their goal line and West lose another tackle. Harrigan waves them back now. White. It's intercepted by Pay, or lost backwards by Pay. West have come up with it. They needed to go left, West here. White. Inside to Carney. Carney for the line. Knocked over. Good defence there by Hetherington and Wilson. White, 10 metres out. Up come Canterbury. Still fights to stay on his feet and slip a pass away. Surrounded, though. 10 out still. Serdaris. This is Affleck. Affleck to play it. Canterbury still back on their goal line, trying to hold out. White, Willis, can't find the runners. Now he pops it up for Stewart. Canterbury defence coming up very, very quickly on the edge of the ruck to cut them off. Last tackle now. White fires it to the wing and it goes straight past Paul Smith. Well, the idea was good. The pass was just too sharp for Paul Smith.
Well, tremendous defence here by the Doggies. Josh White trying to flick the long pass up. Jason Smith, but unfortunately was nowhere near him. But that's the sort of defensive effort, especially the scrambling defensive effort that Chris Anderson will be looking for in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that was a testing time for them, Peter, because those extra 6 on a couple of occasions, but wouldn't be too pleased with that. There's an error early in the tackle count.
I must say, I thought the West's cohesion in attack broke down a couple of times. There were many in close, like Willis and White, looking to find runners, and the runners weren't there. There's the ball lost by Mark Brokenshire, I think it was.
Yeah, Canterbury playing up and in defence, Warren, and most clubs nowadays play a sliding defence, but Canterbury one of the exceptions, certainly in the top 5 that play an up and in defence. And you know, it certainly puts pressure on the opposition players, and a lot of times they come up with the wrong options, and that's what happened on that occasion, not only with the last play by Josh White, but on a couple of occasions before that. His outside men were wrapped up and he had to go himself.
Going further, looking towards semi-finals, do you think that up and in defence would be the sort of defence that can put Cliff Lyons off his game from Manly, and Ricky Stewart's long pass is out of action from Canberra?
Well, I don't know if you can totally wrap those two players up. They're that good of players that you've just got to go out.
But what I'm getting at, will an up and in defence cause them more problems than a sliding defence?
Well, I certainly think with Cliff, if you sit back and watch Cliffy Lyons, he'll make a goose of you. You've got to get up and put some pressure on him, and maybe he'll come up with a few errors, but they'll always play well in big games, those two fellas.
White Puts it up high. Wilson waiting in the in goal. Takes it safely and sprints back to the 20. Wants a quick tap. The West players had their back turned to him. Josh White, the man who put the kick up, just had his back to him. Now here's Halligan. Hardy won't get to him. He won't get to him. Andrew Leeds is the only one who might. Leeds closing, and Halligan sprints, what was it, 80 metres to score the try, and West really have themselves to blame totally here. Half the team had their backs to it. Scott Wilson sprinted up to take the tap, took it, spun it wide, and out it goes to Daryl Halligan, and he races away with Terry Lamb in support.
Well, Scott Wilson, let's put it down to him. Terry Lamb throws a great ball here to Daryl Halligan. There was no one in sight. Big Hardy comes across. He can't match it with him for pace. And as you said, Andrew Leeds was there. But even if Andrew Leeds did have the pace, Terry Lamb was inside. But great smart thinking and quick thinking by Scotty Wilson. There he is again. Took a beautiful bomb. And out it goes to Lamb.
You've got to stay awake. You've got to be hungry every minute of the game. And West simply weren't here. But great thinking by Canterbury. And look at Halligan go. Hasn't he had a tremendous season? Scores his 11th try of the year. And with all the goals he's putting over as well as those 4-pointers, he's just having a marvellous time, Daryl Halligan. 11 tries for the year. Of course, he played rugby union early on for Waikato and also over in Italy for a little spell, but it's rugby league where he's making his name now. But, Scott Wilson alert. That could have been drummed into them by Chris Anderson to get back to that 20-metre line for the quick tap. But honestly, I mean, not to pick him out, there were others as well, but Josh White, the man who put the bomb up to Wilson, literally had his back in his face as he took the tap. He didn't even know that Canterbury were coming back to the 20. Obviously, no one else on the far side did either.
Yeah, but let's give Scott Wilson some credit there.
Both sides deserve, well,
yeah.
One deserves credit, one deserves criticism.
I mean, from the time he took the ball in his in-goal area to the time he tapped it would have been probably 3 seconds, and very hard to cover 20 metres and get back in the defensive line in 3 seconds, Warren. Perhaps you could have done it, but it's a bit impossible for
But you would think that someone in the West camp would have been yelling, here he comes, here he comes. They didn't even turn. They weren't aware of it. Halligan, 83% this season. This is a difficult one. It's off the uprights. Not hit quite as well as he sometimes hits them. 16-0 to the Bulldogs, marching towards the minor premiership.
And West just caught on the wrong foot here, but Terry Lamb, a bit of encouragement from him to Scotty Wilson. He sums it up beautifully, Terry Lamb. Just the unmarked. Couple of West players on the wrong side of the ball. So I guess you've just got to blame themselves for that. You've just got to react. After each decision's made, you've just got to react in this game, and they didn't react quick enough.
Chris Anderson with the burly policeman walking down in front of him.
He'd do anything to keep out of the media, Chris.
Has he even got the police boys on side, has he?
Yep.
Now Brokenshire brings it back from the restart. The game getting away from West now. They've started strongly, but Canterbury have scored 3 tries. West yet to cross their line.
And the bad news for West is the breeze seems to be freshening up a bit, Warren, and Canterbury will have a better breeze at their backs in the second half than West have had. It's just freshening up now.
McCracken.
Been a lot more involved today, Jared. Still recovering from that ankle injury, or not recovering, but still getting his fitness and timing back, and he's been involved. It'd be a good sign for the Doggies going into the semi-finals. I need him at his best.
Good run by Jason Smith and a good hit by Scott Hardy on him. Lamb splits, leads, and Smith. Well-judged kick stays in the field of play. I think Lamb was quite happy for it to stay. Hardy back there now. Canterbury with 17 wins for the season and on their way to an 18th. Just 4 losses for the year. As White sights a little opening, pops it back to Serdaris, trailing. Still going Serdaris. He needs some support. Well, White had the support of Serdaris, but Serdaris didn't have support from anyone. Now White goes to the line. 10 metres quickly picked up. Serdaris. Now Grief. West going forward here with quick play the balls and quick runners over the advantage line. Last tackle coming up now. White. Rebounds, not for the first time in the game. The Canterbury player was onside according to referee Harrigan. Not much in that decision. And Hay comes up with it. They go wide. Dimmock. Dumming inside to Polamato. West defence holds. Della on the sideline. Probably won't come back till the second half. Of course, looking at those 4 losses that have been suffered by Canterbury during the year, way back in round 2 they lost by 1 point to Cronulla, and in round 12 they were defeated by 2 points by Brisbane. That was the scrum win against the Feed late in the game. Round 13 they lost to Norths at Concord 19-8, and a few weeks ago against Canberra, their biggest thrashing of the season, in fact really the only thrashing of the year, to Canberra 36-6.
Yeah, just trying to throw the ball around a little bit too much there. Need to go forward a little bit and just die with the football if there's nothing on. Big Barry Brokenshire, Mark Brokenshire trying to push one out. One of the West players got in the road, so West will get the feed.
Andrew Willis is a solid lad for a 5'8". There's size about him. Now Stewart, who's been playing strongly, Brent Stewart. There's been some doubt over whether he was going to continue with the club at various stages this season. Carney doesn't pull it in. Pearson picks it up on the bounce, but the referee will come back. Stephen Carney just has a word with Jason Smith about something.
I don't think he kept his eyes on the ball there.
I think he knew Jason Smith was going to hit him hard, and he said it to him afterwards. But suspecting it was a little late, but I think there was no doubt that he was entitled to make the tackle. Hollow-Mounters away. He changes direction, leaves Smith behind. Here's the chase for Smith. He rounds him up, but back inside goes Hollow-Mounter. Good chase, though, from the West players, including Hardy. Hollow-Mounter nimble on his feet.
Oh, incredible strength. As I said, I reckon he probably breaks the line along with Steve Menzies more than any other player in the game. Terry Lamb comes up with a great juggling act. What can't he do?
That was a great save. Now, Pay feeds it up to McCracken. Pass put forward out to Wilson. It goes on to Halligan. The ball back now. Referee Harrigan on the spot. Had a good sight of that one. But these Canterbury the passing game of Canterbury, really, you wouldn't see it better in a rugby league manual.
Great ball by Dean Pay to Jared McCracken. Jared tries to throw one. Did go forward. Actually came off perhaps Stephen Hughes, I think it was out there, or a West player, into Daryl Halligan's hand, but the ball was thrown forward. So they're making plenty of breaks, Canterbury, but probably not converting as many of them into points as they'd like to.
Notice Terry Lamb's been packing into the occasional scrum at lock. He's not just doing it again there.
That may have been the half-time siren. A wobbly one it was, and that is half-time. So Canterbury have taken the first step towards putting a very firm stranglehold on this minor premiership. They've scored 3 tries and kicked 2 goals, and leading by 16 points to 0, looks set to go on with it. West certainly in the game, but they're not able to penetrate that Canterbury defence. 16-0 at half-time.
ABC will be covering all finals matches, Saturday and Sunday semis, the final and grand final. We'll have an hour of highlights from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock every night of every finals match. That's a full hour with no interruptions. You'll get all the action. The Rugby League Final Series, 6 o'clock on ABC, right around Australia.
We'll return to the Rugby League shortly, but today, a fantastic record week where Barbar is taking all the attention in his stride.
West win their first scrum. Terry Lamb to play it.
Terry Lamb on the toe. Gets the favourable bounce off the upright and scores his 3rd try of the afternoon.
When I first went into my first grade game, I was nervous as all hell. And now 304 is just a normal game to me. Records are meant to be broken, and I've been lucky enough to do that. But as you say, there's only 2 people that's played over 300 games. That's myself and Geoff Gerard now. And I'm sure people will do it in the future. It's just part of rugby league, and I'm lucky enough to do it. Oh, I do enjoy it for sure, but I spoke to Geoff Gerard yesterday. I had a few photos with him, and I asked him how many injuries he had playing football, and he said he never had a major injury in his career in first grade, and I've had my broken arm, and that's the only injury I've had playing first grade football.
Last tackle now for Canterbury. Flicked out to Jason Williams, throws it up to the best support player in the world, and Terry Lamb touches under the sticks.
Not letting Blake down on the field. If I come off the field and say, listen, I've helped my mates out, I'm happy. If I thought that I could have done more, well, I'm disappointed in my own game.
Surely there must be 1 or 2 games that particularly stick in your mind, either for being great games or for being bad memories.
Well, there's a few. I'll start at my first game at West when I played against Balmain at Lickham Oval up against Percy Knight. I scored a couple of tries. Then I had a shocker against Manly one year. I think Roy Masters was the coach. And he and John Rebo was running down the sideline, passed me the ball, line wide open, and I've dropped the ball. kicked off about 4 times. I never went 10 yards. And that stands in my mind. Like you always got to do, remember the bad games. 84 and 88 grand finals, mainly because I was involved mostly in them ones, and we won them.
Terry Lamb, with blood pouring from a cut on his face, goes to dummy half. Brayman times his pass to Kelly, trying to force his way free of those tackles.
One game here against Newcastle a couple of years ago, when we needed 2 points for a win, and I kicked a field goal.
John Schuster try and goal edged Newcastle in front of Canterbury. Trailing by 2 with a minute to go, Terry Lamb inexplicably potted a field goal. 1 point, not enough for the Bulldogs.
They blew me up because I told them I went footy tab. So I got 12,000 out of it. No, but I just had a blackout, and I didn't see the player kick the goal at the end of the game, and so I went for a field goal. It was a great kick too.
There's one tackle to go. Terry Lamb away now to Potter. Now Sterling underneath it. Gets around Farah, and trapped there by Lamb.
Have you got any bad memories about rugby league? Anything that, you know, sort of like a bit of a fly in the ointment, something you wish you didn't do, or something you wish didn't happen?
Probably the Geoff Gerard incident when I got sent off against Manly and attempted headbutting they got, and I got 4 weeks. I'd like to, scrap that out of my career.
In front of the post now, Jason Smith turns it back inside for Jimmy Dimmick, pops it up to Terry Lamb.
This was going to be your last year, but you are playing again next year. What was the reason behind that decision, the arm?
Yeah, the 14 weeks off, I freshened myself up, especially mentally. And Chris asked me, and as soon as I started playing again, I knew there wasn't going to be any problems with my arm, so I decided to keep playing.
That must make you feel good every time you look up there and see Terry Lamb Family Hill, doesn't it?
Thanks, Rebecca, and Canterbury in charge in this match, 16 points to 0 at half-time. Of course, this is our last live game of the season, and we want to thank you for all your support during the year. It's been tremendous having you with us every Saturday afternoon. But, of course, we will be continuing through the semi-finals, the finals and the grand final on ABC television. And we want to remind you that wherever you are in Australia, we'll bring you an hour of highlights, a full hour of highlights from 6 p.m. on the night of every one of those Saturday and Sunday semi-finals, the final and grand final. No ads, no interruptions, a full hour of action on ABC television right through the semis. Now, at half-time through the season, we've tried to sink our teeth into whatever controversy or issue has been happening in rugby league. Of course, there is plenty to sink our fangs into again this week with action down at the judiciary last Monday night. But rather than banging my head on that brick wall again, I thought we would celebrate some of the terrific football we've seen during the year and just sit back, enjoy some of the spectacular action that the players have turned on for us on Saturday afternoons on the ABC this year. Now Lyons quickly keeps them going. It's Danny Moore striding out. He goes right through them, Danny Moore. Back on the inside is Gardner. He gives it to Lyons, and that's a try to Manly. Superb backing up.
Lyons, you notice, they make another break.
And
this will be a try.
On his left. He's got to look for him, but Lyons is there too. And inside it goes. Mabon races away. Brown Lyons is very fast. Almost gets to him, but Mabon will score. Well, that's great football by St George.
Field goal.
It's a good call. Taylor doesn't miss very often from there, and that's an important kick. Madison swings it wide and knocked on by Andrew G. And it's Will Robinson racing away for the try. And haven't the Broncos been made to pay for that mistake? You would think that Penrith would love a try before half-time, and they're going to get it from back Fiddler. He's done it all himself. Green, Pearley, around him comes Green and puts Borton into the gap. Borton goes to the line and he's over. Dave Borton, great run now from Steve Waters, steams up the middle, no support for him, gets away from Maven. Can he go all the way? It'll be an amazing try. It is Steve Waters, an amazing try. Serdaris comes back towards the post. Affleck gets the pass to Serdaris. Serdaris is over, yes. Try to West. Penner finds Schindel inside. 10 metres out, he changes direction. He's done them inside out. He sent the St George players running in one another. Freeman hunting around, finds Alexander, pops it up and Langy, there it is. Beautiful ball, and there's a try for Graham Mackay. What a pass. Last long pass comes to Krankovic. Beats one tackle. Came off Clint Lyons. Casey for the line. with 6 more, but he doesn't need them.
Is Ainscow making a break out wide?
And this could well be a try because inside is Richards, and Wayne Richards sprints away for the try, set up by Jamie Ainscow. To Taylor. Chase comes from Stewart. Taylor avoids him. Kick across field. And here's a chase. Hoppy will get to it first. Hoppy to the corner. Hoppy's in. Sean Hoppy. Now Lamb goes himself and cuts straight through. Yet again, it's a point inside. Gives it instead to Silver. Silver kicks clear. And Rod Silver scores a much-needed try for East. Last tackle. Fields goes to the hooker. McRae pops it back. Still alive on the last. Bell knocks it back. Goal's big now. Still on the last. They have to do something with it. Now it goes through. Now it's still going. Oh, yes! Long can't keep it on the toe. And Druku's got it. Away go Canberra. Mullins down to halfway. Too fast for Davidson. Here comes Watson. Then Druku. Crossman giving chase. One more pass. Back to Mullins. It's champagne football here from the Raiders. It's done. 10. Last tackle. 10 metres out. Mundine. Goal for. Pops it to Coyne. He's found Turp on the wing, and Turp dives, and he's over. The pass out to Florimo, and he's on the burst, and he's away. He's got Taylor with him. Gives it to him, and Taylor will sprint in for the try. North's hit back the best way possible. Brisbane giving chase. They've got it back. It was played at, no doubt about that. And away goes Galia now. Galia might score himself. Back inside, McKenna for the line. He skids over on his back. And assisted by Alan Cairn to force the ball. The try is awarded.
They must run the football.
Lamb, Polomouta, Halligan's in there. Away it comes to Brokenshire, to Stephen Hughes. Stephen Hughes is over.
Yeah, and look what happens with the back line. They've got to adjust themselves again. Invariably something happens. Here's Hill making a good run and looking for support.
Oh, he gets it to Hancock. Hancock flying down the line. Menzies is inside, falling for it. There's more support there as well for Menzies. It's Danny Moore. Crossan giving chase. Moore's trying to take him on. Back to Hancock. Great backing up from Craig Hancock. Oh, the crowd are on their feet for that one. Fires it to Pinchinelli to Wishart. Oh, he's gone without it. McGregor gets it. Still play on with Wishart. And Wishart's got it at the second attempt. Remarkable try. And what a season it has been. Some magnificent football played. Fine, open, attacking football. The most spectacular tries you'll ever see. And Jacko, it sets itself up for a magnificent final series.
Well, all work's set now. All Brisbane have to do, if Canterbury win this game, all Brisbane have to do is beat Balmain tomorrow. And I think we're in for the greatest semi-final series, certainly in my history of watching the game. I think we've got the 5 best teams in the competition and the 5 best attacking sides. So anything could happen, Warren. Can't wait.
And there's the half-time stats here at Campbelltown. Notice that the total tackles made is pretty heavy defensive work there by both teams. 3 men in every tackle, and very even the number of tackles made. Errors again about even. Both teams are contributing there with handling errors and missed tackles. 10 missed tackles by both sides. Penalties are 5-1 to West. Scrums about even. Plenty of metres gained by Canterbury. They've gone the length of the field a couple of times. 51% of the ball has gone to the Bulldogs, and 16-0 at half-time. And this man, Terry Lamb, had a strong first half. He's never far from the Man of the Match award any week. Jacko, just quickly before half-time, I'm going to ask you the question everybody's asking me: who's going to play the grand final?
Well, I think Canterbury will be one side for sure, and I think whoever wins out of Canberra and Manly will have a very big head start to being the other side.
Yep, I agree. If Canberra are in the top 3, you'd have to put them in, and I think Canterbury as minor premiers have the right and expectation to be there too. Halligan starts this second half. And bouncing in front of the post. Acrobatics there from Willis to pull it in, and Bill Dunn brings it back for West. They'll be digging deep in this second half to finish the season on a high note, I would expect. Debbie Spillane, what's the news from the dressing room?
Well, from the Bulldogs room, Chris Anderson was just basically reinforcing a couple of messages. He wants them to concentrate on short passes early in the set, look for opportunities to spread the ball wide later on, and also the old one, play it as much as possible in their half. Peardy, what's happening with the West camp?
Well, with 40 minutes to go, I guess effort and enthusiasm would be the key words to finish off the season for Western Suburbs.
And here's Serdaris with a bit of push and shove to bounce away. I was told the other week that when West get into the opposition 20, they call a move. It's really just the same move every time. They yell, "Let's have fun." I don't know whether it's true or just a reflection of what is regarded as the I suppose the surge in enthusiasm, maybe a change is as good as a holiday after Warren had taken them to the semis 2 seasons. It was at 91 and 92, and we all know what a good coach he was, but West did seem to be bogging down a little this season and maybe just trying to throw the ball around a little more since he's gone. Mind you, the results haven't changed dramatically. Probably under Wayne Ellis they've been a little improved at the end of the season, but not dramatically so. Here's Terry Lamb. He's taken by Willis, flings it back. Plenty of Canterbury players back there waiting for it. Stephen Hughes with the ball now. Just inside the West half. Hughes to his feet slowly. Colomounter fires it out nicely. Jason Smith is wide. Jason Williams now. And in and away from Smith. Still going Williams. He is elusive, unpredictable player.
A fantastic long ball by Craig Colomounter.
Now Lamb on the last tackle. Back inside, Hetherington throws the dummy. Now he gets it to Colomounter. One more pass needed. And West just get to them in time. Handover.
Well, there we see again Canterbury, those short passes, inside ball from Terry Lamb to Hetherington. Here we'll have a look at it now. Terry Lamb, good long ball. Terry Lamb spots a gap in the middle of the ruck. Back inside to Hetherington. He throws a good dummy, and Craig Colomounter just pulled down by, I think it was Brent Stewart, the Kiwi. So, very good play by the Canterbury side.
Now Grief takes on Dimmock. He holds him out, and Brokenshire helps out. Marty Bell, I thought it was a pretty warm day, but he's gone for the tracksuit top. I think it was going to snow.
Well, he came out and just sent back to the dressing room for that because the breeze has kicked in a little bit, as I said. It's a bit cooler.
Now Serdaris, the ears strapped down. Doesn't want any of those cauliflower ears. After packing into plenty of scrums, now loses the ball, and the referee says he'll put a scrum down. Now, whether he had called held and the ball was lost.
Well, there he is, Jim Serdaris. He's one of the toughest guys to tackle in the football. And there he is. He's just struggling to get to his feet. And I think he tried to actually milk a penalty a little bit there, Jimmy. Didn't work for him. Canterbury-Bankstown get the feet in a good attacking position.
Lamb had the angled runner. He goes to McCracken, but he can't hang on to it. Jacko, in the first half you said Jared McCracken has been more involved, but I don't think he looks 100% confident. He hasn't really been charging the ball, and that time he obviously took his eye off it a little.
I think he's still getting his confidence back. But he's a very important member of this team, Jared McCracken. His defence is very, very important, especially up against the back lines like Canberra and Brisbane. You've just got to have a guy out there who puts a little bit of fear into the players, McCracken. Huge man.
White, he runs at the forwards. He won't get too far there. They were fairly tightly compressed. He took them on anyway. He plays it forward. Lamb thought he'd marked up. Serdaris with the kick. Wilson comes forward beautifully. Great work, Scott Wilson.
Showed a lot of courage, Scott Wilson. Pick up that dribbling ball. There he is, Jimmy Serdaris and Scott Wilson, great mates. Played a lot of football together, South Juniors. In fact, Jim Dimmock can throw him in there as well. Craig Fields, another one, Matt Sears, Terry Hill. So an incredible bunch of good players coming from those South Junior areas.
Smith tries to get his arms over the top, but the ball's jolted loose. They've managed to regain possession, but it'll be a scrum. Smith managed to get it back.
Well, they're the sort of mistakes they don't need. Here he is, Jason Smith, just trying to get his arms free.
He always holds the ball in two hands out the front, Peter. That's why they're all good players that can use the ball. Do that. There's Serdaris on the ground.
Serdaris, I wonder, has he got a slight cut to the mouth or is it a head knock?
Warren, I was going to say before, Warren, that Serdaris is known for his running game and deception round dummy half and some of his passes, but he's got one of the best defensive techniques in the competition.
He's been West's best week in, week out this year, no doubt about that. And while there's so many players who are being mentioned as possible kangaroo tourists, Serdaris has to be a chance. Now Canterbury inside the 5 metres, even though West made an error, handling error, but Serdaris quickly goes to them again. And Serdaris and the West fans are claiming a penalty, and they've got it right in front. But will they go for the try here? Serdaris taking off. Canterbury didn't get back 10 metres in time. They didn't have time to get back. 7-1 the penalties to West. Off the usually very disciplined Canterbury side. Brief, powers at them, nearly goes right through. Serdaris one off the ruck to White, runners going through. Leads almost through the tackle, and it's a beautiful tackle by Pollamouta. 5 out still. Smith looking for his 19th try. Held by 3 Bulldogs. Make it 4 even. Serdaris back to White. Shovels it quickly to Willis. He breaks the tackle. Willis away. There's support inside. Carney was there. A weak tackle by one of the Canterbury players. Nearly let Willis through. Last tackle. White with the kick. Back goes Hughes, and Hughes has got it. And he gets back into the field of play. Well done.
Oh, great work. Great determination. Stephen Hughes. A little bit of a mix-up behind there with that grubber kick through. A good defensive effort once again by Canterbury. And as I said earlier, there it is. Craig Pollamouta looked to have it. The old 1-2. And Hughes just leaves a few blokes in his wake to get back into the field of play. But that's a good defensive effort by Canterbury.
It looked like confusion between Hughes and Pollamouta, but I think it was a beautiful dummy by Hughes to completely fool West. Hay with the ball. Canterbury leading 16-0. Smith to Lamb. And Lamb knocked over by Willis and Carney. Now Dimmock with the kick down towards Leeds. Dimmock giving chase, but Leeds skirts him. Hetherington's there now, makes a good tackle. Jason Hetherington, a former 5'8" with the Gold Coast. And what's happening here? Josh White. So that's the problem. He might be claiming he's been bitten, Josh White. Showing his hand to the referee. And Terry Lamb comes up to inquire what it's all about. I'd say this is a biting allegation against Hoover. Horror of horrors if it was against Lamb. Lamb's calling Dean Pay over. Dean Pay is being called over. And Jim Serdaris as West captain there with Terry Lamb, the Canterbury captain. Let's have a look at this incident and see if this is what's happened. Pay with the ball, White tackling. And he gives him a jolt. Well, certainly the halfback White is claiming that Dean Pay then sunk his teeth into him. No doubt that White gave him a bit of a chop with the arm first. So the referee has him on report, and we obviously will have to hear more about that later, either innocent or guilty. The last thing that Canterbury need is Dean Pay to be found guilty of a biting charge at this stage of the season. Serdaris to Dunn. Interesting too that the judiciary can't complain about the view they've had of that incident. They'll be able to have a very good look at it and hear evidence from both sides. Carney with the kick ahead. And Canterbury have got it through Pay. Brokenshire now.
That's twice West have turned the ball over with those short kicks. I think they're frustrated in a way. Credit to the Canterbury defence, but Chris Anderson's pleased with the effort in defence today. So that'll be a goal to keep West from scoring.
Yeah, it's a good effort too when you look at the amount of tries that West have scored this year. So you're no mug attacking outfit. It's what you need. Win semi-finals, you need good defence.
Pollamouta. Lamb. Back to Pollamouta. Pollamouta dances straight through. Now he gets it on to Hetherington. On now to Hughes. Stephen Hughes. Back inside. Terry Lamb for his second. He's got it. Oh, what a way to celebrate, Baba. Second try of the game. In fact, he's improved his position. He didn't force it the first time. He just rolled over and kept on going. And plants it right behind that black dot, and Canterbury lead 20 points to 0. Pollamouta has been playing very well. Here it is, Lamb offloading back to Pollamouta, who really makes the break. Steps in and around and through them. Jason Hetherington does well to get it away. Stephen Hughes equally well. Back inside. The mercurial Lamb, the perfect support player. He bounces back to his feet, improves the position.
Yeah, we'll put this one down to Craig Pollamouta, and a great pick-up by Stephen Hughes, and a great pass to Jason Hetherington. There's some great footwork by Polamatta. Jason Hetherington does great here to get a one-hander away, and Stephen Hughes pulls it in with his right hand, as we saw last week when he scored that try under the post. And there he is again. Another try to Terry Lamb. That's try 1 million, and Daryl Halligan adds the extras.
Well, Peardy, it's one of your lines. If he's not as quick over the ground, he's quick between the ears. It's 22-0.
It certainly is, and this was just a real lack of desire, I think, on West's behalf. Look at this. No one really wants to go to the game here. Stephen Carney standing off. Grief sidestep. There's a half-hearted effort by Smith. He should have come in and really crunched Hetherington. But inside to Terry Lamb, and Lamb's over for, well, I think he hasn't scored millions, but probably thousands. Debbie, you've got a message.
Yeah, well, Glenn Grief has come off the field now. Scott Hardy's back on replacing him, and Dean Pay's left the field for Canterbury. The interchange player is Simon Gillies.
So West with the restart, and Lamb comes forward to take it well. Just recapping, of course, if you've just joined us, this is Terry Lamb's 304th first-grade game. He's broken the record set by Geoff Gerard, who had racked up 303, and Terry Lamb scoring 2 tries in this match. West's up inside the 10. Smith wants to take the tap. In fact, Lamb had 88 games for West between 1980 and 83, and then 215 for Canterbury between 84 and 94. 7 tests played back in 86 for Terry Lamb, 8 State of Origins, a World Cup appearance in 88, a Kangaroo Tour in 86. He's got plenty of great memories to look back on, but a grand final win this year is what he's got his mind on right now. Brokenshire, taken by Hardy.
I think Terry Lamb, that would be the jewel in Terry Lamb's crown, would be that grand final win, because he's had it. There's Jason Hetherington.
And on it goes, but intercepted by Serdaris. It was a lovely pass from Darren Britt that put Hetherington through. Now it's out to Pearson.
There he is, Hetherington, just probably getting a call from a former teammate.
Gee, there's danger all over the paddock with the Canterbury side, particularly that back row, but Britt very impressive today, coming up with some beaut balls, and here's a break by Leeds.
Leeds chased by Wilson. Leeds still going towards the sideline, back inside now to Smith. But the defence has quickly caught up to them, that little delay. Canterbury with plenty of cover defenders chasing hard. West will swing it wide, all their men stationed across field. Pearson keeps it going to Carney. Carney out now to Darren Willis. Polamatta is there. Can't quite hang on to him, but he's slowed him up for Dimmock. Now Andrew Willis, the man who helped make the break a moment ago. Dunn. Back to White. White to Darren Willis. Gives it away to Eade. They're not far out here. West still looking for their first points of the match. Carney goes towards Pearson. He can't hang on to it. Did it come off a Canterbury hand and go forward? No, the referee says it's a knock-on by West and a handover.
And a tremendous effort by Polamatta on the winger. But if we have a look at that again...
Knocked on by the West player.
Western Suburbs knock-on.
Good decision.
You're getting back to Terry Lamb. I think this year, and particularly this era with Canterbury-Bankstown, in 1990, they had a max exodus of players, and a lot of them actually came to Western Suburbs. And since then, him and Chris Anderson have been instrumental in building this side up and building the club back up. And I think him and Chris Anderson especially would like to have that premiership, because I think it'd be their baby.
I notice Craig Polamatta just holding, I think it's his shoulder, his right shoulder. Here's Smith trying to slip it away to Dimmock. Polamatta looks okay. Stephen Folkes, the trainer, is on the field. He's talking to Mark Brokenshire. Hetherington puts the kick downfield. Here comes Halligan. They won't want to hang off this ball. Leeds does well, though. McCracken can't get to him. And there's Polamatta, who slammed him to ground on the halfway.
He's done some good cleaning up, Warren.
Now it's Hardy. It's all Canterbury in terms of the metres gained, even though West have now crept ahead in terms of possession. Just that little bit more time in possession for the Magpies, but all the ground has been gained by Canterbury. They're the ones making the breaks. Marty Bella ready to rumble again. Willis, Andrew Willis, back inside to Serdaris. Andrew Willis making a couple of breaks. They're just hanging off him a little. White
We're starting to pepper away here. Pearson takes it well. Ken McGuinness, another young player for West in the centres in reserve grade. Didn't play today, but he and Pearson might be a centre pairing for West in the years ahead. Up it goes. Wilson can't take it. And the penalty goes to Canterbury. Was that against offside play by West? Inside the 10, I think. After someone must have been in front of the kicker.
There's Martin Bella signalling to Mark Brockenshire who he's going to replace. Brockenshire seems to be holding aside to a rib or something. He might be in a little bit of injury worry.
Daryl Halligan will find touch. 11,400 people have turned up here today to find tribute to both clubs, but I think quite a few here to see Terry Lamb. And certainly a lot of Canterbury fans, to their credit here, to cheer their side onto this minor premiership. West would like to see crowds of this and more here every week. There does seem to be signs that West are reorganising, trying to recruit and get the club back onto a strong footing for next year under Tom Iridonikis. Polomata to Lamb. He floats it, almost intercepted by Smith. He couldn't pull it down. He's running away, but surely he'll be called back. They couldn't hear the whistle. Scott Wilson makes the tackle. Good battle.
Stephen Hughes it wasn't. There's Smithy, he's got a smile on his face.
Good duel into the corner there.
I noticed Stephen Hughes limping a little bit before. He seems to be moving okay now. A number of the Canterbury players with niggling injuries, Hughes and McCracken, the centres. So they'll enjoy that week off. There's Mark Brockenshire.
Good work by those two guys. If they didn't hear the whistle, they played, they played on until they finally got the word that it wasn't going to be play on. Sometimes players will turn around and have a look first. Polomata now gets it out to Williams.
Yeah, there's the total tackles. Canterbury had 21 more tackles than West.
Canterbury leading 22-0. And we've got 18 minutes remaining in this match. Lamb cuts through, gets away from Affleck now. Looks for support, there's Polomata. Onto Williams, Leach comes at him, this is a race. Oh, Polomata, I should say Williams is too good. Jason Williams, too good. But again, a lovely pass coming out to him from Craig Polomata. And Jason Williams, chased by Andrew Leach, and just stared him in the face, a little in and away, but then just put the accelerator down, pedal down, and away he went.
Well, let's have a look at it now. Here he is, this man again. He throws a good dummy here. Terry gets halfway through the gap, able to get rid of Affleck. And he just goes wide with a nice pass to Craig Polomata. He sucks in Paul Smith, which is good. And this man here's got one of the best in and aways in the business. He's beaten some good fullbacks with that this year. Matthew Ridge, of course, in a Friday nighter. He beat him a couple of times. Let's have another look at it. He's a dummy. And Warren, this is a tremendous pass here by Craig Polomata to suck Paul Smith in.
Yeah, he's just gone to them and just lent his body back in to commit the tacklers. And as you say, beautiful in and away, that little swerve from Williams, and he has tremendous acceleration from that in and away and leaves the fullback grasping. Lovely Canterbury try. They've got skill all over the paddock. We talked about the forwards in the first half, that back row trio, but they've got skill right across the field. Jason Williams, can you believe that he was playing Metropolitan Cup a couple of years ago? He's averaged a try every second game since. Halligan, 3 from 4 today. This isn't an easy one, but they're all pretty easy for Daryl Halligan. Look at that. It's tremendous security to have behind you going into the semi-finals. Canterbury 28, West 0.
And Warren, again, West, just look at this head-on shot. Terry Lamb really chopping around. Some ineffective defence by 40 and 41 there. Terry Lamb always aware of support players. Polomata's been on the spot today, but gee, this bloke shows good judgment here. He better had a bit of room to the sideline, and he does make people miss.
Canterbury skipper will be impressed by this hit out. They look sharper than they did in beating Illawarra last week. And this is a good run in for the semis.
Warren, that nil scoreline looks tremendous today. 28-0. I would say Chris Anderson would probably agree that they haven't been anywhere near perfect, but he'd be happy with that scoreline.
Yeah, they've made a few mistakes and sorting out a little bit of pattern coming into the semi-finals, Canterbury, but as you said, Peardy, the other team doesn't score any tries. It's very hard to lose the football game.
Simon Gillies is out there. Number 40, but he seems to be limping a little.
And Warren, can I send a cheerio call to Ava Joseph? She's struggling a bit with illness at the moment, Ava. She's the wife of one of Parramatta's greatest stalwarts, Joe Joseph. You've probably seen him a bit on the TV. He's the guy that rubs them with the magic fingers. Yeah, Ava's struggling a bit, and we're all thinking of you, Ava.
Yeah, here, because Joey Joseph's done a bit of work on me, and he's signed 30.
Yeah, well, Joe's a tough man, but he reckons he wouldn't rate with his wife. She's that tough and courageous.
Yeah, well, let's hope everything's on the improve.
That's Jerome Lane, the under-21 second rower coming on. We believe Brent Stewart's about to come off. He has been limping around a bit, so he's probably an injury replacement.
White out to Stephen Carney. Down on the halfway. Last tackle coming up for West. Andrew Willis. Short kick ahead. Williams goes back, stretches and takes it well. And quickly dived on by Pearson.
Also got a bit of news on Mark Rockenshire, Warren. He's had a bit of an infection in the groin. He got a knee to it, apparently, so he has gone to the sheds now, even though they said he wasn't injured earlier. I think he's having a bit of trouble with that.
He's an important man for Canterbury going into the semis because they need that backup front rower with Bella and Britt in the starting lineup.
Gee, those two second rowers, Pay and Jason Smith, gee, they'd be nice to run off, Peter. You'd certainly know where you were all the time. Yeah. When they hold the ball out the front, you just got to put yourself in a hole alongside them.
Yeah, guys like Scotty Wilson just have a field day running off those sort of players. Terry Lamb's another one. There's a little chip and chase picked up by Jared McCracken.
Hetherington swings it wide to Lamb on the last tackle. He goes again. There's an intercept. Andrew Willis. Now he won't be fast enough to go all the way, but Paul Smith might be. Stephen Hughes giving chase. This is a great chase from Stephen Hughes. Smith is still on his feet, but he's pulled down. They need to play the ball here very quickly. Hughes hanging on. Smith plays it back. Out now to Andrew Willis. He gives it away to Darren Willis. McCracken clutches him from an offside position, though. The ball is lost. Now, surely that's going to be a sin bin. Surely that is a sin bin.
Well, I don't know if he was offside.
Well, what was the penalty for then?
Well, I know that's what he's penalised him for, but I'd like to see that on a wide shot to see if he was offside. I thought the Canterbury players, don't forget, they've only got to be back on the try line. They don't have to be back 10 metres. Be interesting to see, but didn't he get smashed? That's what I'm talking about, Jared McCracken. He's an intimidating defender.
What about the chase from Stephen Hughes on Paul Smith? You would think that was a lay-down misère. But here's West with another shot at it from 2 metres out. Serdaris gets it away to White. White ducking and weaving. A shoulder charge comes in from McCracken, who looks all fired up now after his big hit. Now it's Serdaris. Serdaris still going. Jim Serdaris shows the dummy. Now he pops it up for Leeds. Leeds for the line. Great defence once more, and he's lost it. Well, tremendous work from Canterbury. Bella was in amongst it. I think Simon Gillies was there. There were 3 or 4 of them who somehow stopped it.
Yeah, here he goes. Andrew Leeds coming for the try line, trying to barge his way over a la front row style, and he doesn't get that ball down. Good decision by Bill Harrigan. There's another look at it. Interesting to see. No, he doesn't get the ball down. Certainly knocked that one on.
And here's a bombshell for you. Terry Lamb's been replaced. Glenn Hughes has gone on, wearing number 19. Lamb's coming to the bench.
Well, that is a surprise. You would think that Lamb would want to play out this game, although whether he's
they don't normally
struggling for fitness at all after having had 14 weeks off with the broken arm.
But they don't normally interchange him. We'll see what we can find out.
I don't think he's struggling for fitness. Obviously, he's a little bit tired, but his performance today, he certainly hasn't been struggling for fitness. Having a bit of a blow. Young Glenn Hughes ago is an outstanding prospect, brother of Stephen Hughes, son of Gary Hughes, former Canterbury great 5'8".
Well, maybe that's more the key, is it, that they want to give him a run. But Lamb seems to be unstrapping the padding on the arm, so he probably won't be back. Away goes Darren Willis. I've still got to wonder if McCracken was offside, which is my only explanation for the penalty. Why wasn't he sin binned? If there was ever a professional foul, it had to be that. It cost West a certain try.
Well, it had to be close to a penalty try as well, surely.
Well, a fair point, Debbie.
I don't think he was offside.
Well, what was the penalty for?
Well, I don't know. I'm not saying that. Well, I know the penalty was for being offside, but I think he was wrong.
Oh, yeah, okay, I take your point, yeah. But if he gave the penalty, he had to then surely think about a sin bin or a penalty try. Here is Andrew Leeds.
The word on Terry Lamb from the Canterbury bench is that he won't be back on. They say he's not injured, but he's not coming back on in this game.
be on the sideline to take the cheers from the crowd at the end.
And hopefully an interview with us. He's promised us one.
28 points to 0 to Canterbury. And away go West with Lane. Jerome Lane to play it, 25 metres out. Serdaris still trying hard. He's striving for the try that has eluded them so far. And as it bounced off the Canterbury player, it's come back to another Bulldog who was in an offside position, Jason Smith. Serdaris quickly takes off. Now he swivels back. He's full of tricks, Jim Serdaris. There's no doubt he's good enough to be the number 2 hooker behind Steve Walters. I know there's some other good players around, like Kerrod Walters, among others, and Benny Elias, but Serdaris deserves to be there. Pearson's over. Pearson with a great run. This young fellow, Brandon Pearson, shows his qualities. He scored 2 tries against Canberra last week, and that's no easy task. Wests are finally on the board. It's 28-4 to Canterbury, but after some persistence, they've held the ball long enough here. Bill Dunn gets the pass back. Serdaris, no surprise that he was involved, even though it was Pearson who did all the work, and that impregnable Canterbury defence is finally broken.
Yeah, that's a good ball from Bill Dunn. Jimmy Serdaris in everything today for Western Suburbs. Hasn't given up trying. He knows it's his last chance. And Brandon Pearson breaks a few tackles and carries Scotty Wilson over the line with him. So the Magpies are on the board. And there's another look at it. Bill Dunn, he does well to unload that ball. A nice one-hander. And Serdaris pops it out to Pearson, and he does the rest. Nice run to score the try. Maggies are on the board.
There he is, Brandon Pearson, and West will be pinning their hopes on juniors like him to fill the first grade ranks in the years ahead. Already scored 6 tries and hasn't been up there all that long this season. Andrew leads. And that's straight between the posts. So Canterbury still leading handsomely, 28 points to 6 with 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, there's Brandon Pearson just coming on the left of your screen now. The 41 just coming back into position. There's a good ball by Dunn, and there's the 41 coming onto a ball by Serdaris. McCracken came off the line there, should have crushed him. He probably was only going about 60% there. He wouldn't be too happy with himself there. He should have crushed Pearson, but Pearson did well and came off the left foot. He's a recruit from the St George Club, Warren.
Jason Hetherington has come off the field for Canterbury. Robert Ralph, big effort from him. He's come on to take his place.
Now, a rare penalty against a side for being in front of the kicker from the restart, and here comes Jim Serdaris. He's done that tap kick how many times? 3 or 4 times in the last 10 minutes. He's trying to put West on the front foot. Here's Scott Hardy now. And West getting a bit of ball now, starting to test out this Canterbury defence. Jerome Lane. 26 metres out. White, who's directed the play pretty well today. Carney gets it back, and it's knocked forward by Britt, and he regathers to force the scrum.
Warren, I wonder if that penalty may be an indication for the playoff series.
Well, if it is, Johnny, there you see Carney popping one out and down.
So it's a little late, but
well, if it is, I hope
it should be addressed, shouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If it is going to be penalised, I hope they give the club some warning about it, because penalties like that can make or break games, especially semi-finals. And when it hasn't been happening all season, it's a little bit unfair, although it is in the rule book, it's a little bit unfair to spring it on them come the semi-final time, but I'm sure Mick Stone wouldn't do that.
Now Bill Dunn has West only 12 metres out. West surging on the back of plenty of possession. It's Affleck. He's 8 metres out from the posts. West looking for their second try in the matter of a few minutes. White back to Serdaris, and there it is. There's Pearson again. Oh, he hit that beautifully. You can't run harder and straighter than that. He hit the hole. The pass was dead up for him, and he scores his second try, and the Magpies second. Canterbury 28, West 10 with a kick to come.
Yeah, just the old run-around moves. Josh Stewart around Jimmy Serdaris. I can't give him enough raps today. And Brandon Pearson just hits that ball at 100 miles an hour. There was no stopping him from there. There it is again.
Lovely soft pass here from Serdaris too. He didn't fire it at Pearson, who was coming at him. He just pushed it up for him, and Pearson takes it beautifully.
Yeah, there it is. You're right, Graham. Beautiful soft pass. Canterbury-Bankstown players not coming up in a line. They left a little hole.
Graham.
Sorry, Warren.
Peardy was just talking about Canterbury coach Chris Anderson being very happy with the defensive effort. He wouldn't be too happy with this. Peardy as soon as Terry Lamb leaves the field, coincidentally.
A little bit disappointing. He's had a good season, Andrew Leeds.
Should convert this try. He has had a good season. He's up there amongst the top point scorers for the year in a side that hasn't won too many games. 28 points to 12 in favour of the Bulldogs.
If you just look at the Canterbury defensive line, you'll see the run around. You see Polamalu just coming off the line. But Pearson did very well. He ran into the hole, and a nice ball from Jim Serdaris. He's been in the action all day, but he's a promising lad. He's got a bit of size about him, the 41.
West's had quite a turnover of players coming into this season. They lost some big names, the likes of Gillespie and Hill and Britt. But a lot of the players who they signed didn't come through. Dale Fritz was hurt early on. One player we saw in reserve grade, Manoa Thompson, has barely played more than a couple of first-grade games all season. But you would wonder, what is Tom Mirodonicus going to inherit next year? Will there be any big-name signings? I haven't heard of any. So he might have to work basically with this first-grade squad. I'm sure Tom will lift the spirit of the camp, but he's no miracle worker, no coach is. Here's Serdaris, puts the kick ahead.
Well, he's had a fantastic game, Serdaris, hasn't he? He just keeps trying. You've got to give the guy a rap, Jim Serdaris. He's been in a losing side all year. But certainly every game I've seen Western Suburbs play, Jim Serdaris has been the standout. And once again, certainly no difference today. He's been the standout player for Western Suburbs and really can hold his head up high after this season. I think he deserves to go on the Kangaroo Tour.
Well, this is his last chance, and he's really impressing. Televised match, chance to show the selectors what he can do and keep it fresh in their memories. Other players will make the semis have the chance to continue to impress. Kerrod Walters for one. Fifth tackle now for Canterbury, 30 metres out. Polamalu puts the kick in behind Eade, but it's too deep, too far.
Well, just starting to lose a little bit of composure, Canterbury, at this stage. They have got a makeshift side on the field. A number of the reserve grade players on there, but still Chris Anderson will be looking for a good strong finish. They need a strong finish. We've got 2 weeks off after this game, and you need a good performance to finish with, or a good 10 minutes to finish with, so you've got something to work on in those 2 weeks. Nothing worse going into the dressing room knowing that you haven't got a game the following week to fix things up after a disappointing second half. So they'll need to pick up again in this last eight or 9 minutes.
Leeds goes up the middle. Solid contact. Now Smith. Paul Smith out on that right wing. Interesting point, Jacko. Some experts, so-called experts, believe that if your team is made up of right-handers, which most teams are, passing right to left is the more favoured way to pass. So left wingers should score all the tries, but Leeds has scored 18 on the right wing. Smith, I should say, has scored 18 tries on that right wing, and a few other players high up in the try-scoring have also done that, like Craig Hancock from Manly and Sean Hoppy from Norths.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's a viable proposition.
I'm not really putting it forward, but some people do propose it. I think Roy Masters is one.
I think wingers that don't score tries use that as an excuse, don't they? We never get it.
I must have played on the right wing.
We never get it because they're all right-handers.
Now Darren Britt. Total tackles, Canterbury been forced to get through a bit of defence. 232 tackles to West 179. And now up the middle they go, and back it comes from Gillies now to Smith. Lovely football. Strong stuff there from Canterbury. Robert Ralph also involved for Canterbury in 25. Out wide it goes on the last tackle. Stephen Hughes still going. Flicks it to McCracken. McCracken gives it to Halligan. He's over. Daryl Halligan. The try really shouldn't have happened because Jason Eade was tempted to go in and gave Halligan a little too much room on the wing. And Daryl Halligan, how many tries is that for him today?
It's 2 tries for him. I think 12 for the season for Daryl Halligan.
2 tries.
Here we go, have a look at the replay now. Just going out wide, Craig Polamalu out to Stephen Hughes. He gets through to one, steps inside the other. That's a fantastic ball, a bit of a speculator. And Jared McCracken shows he's got good hands as well. Halligan goes over in the corner.
But it was 2 against 2, and Jason Eade had to stand his ground on his winger here, and he just comes in on McCracken.
What about this for a pass?
Lovely ball.
And Jared McCracken shows good poise to get that ball quickly through his hands. There you go again.
He's got plenty of skill, Stephen Hughes, hasn't he?
Yeah, look at that. That's an unbelievable football.
Stephen Hughes keeping Darren Smith in reserve grade. Now Halligan, they don't get much harder than this, but he's just laughed in the face of the difficulty so far. Oh, he's done it again. It's extraordinary, this man. Extraordinary. He started the day with an 83% success rate. Well, he's improved on that. It's 34-12 to Canterbury.
There's the ball just going out the Canterbury back line. Really should have been wrapped up there by Willis and even over the top by Stephen Carney. He did very well, but look at Jason Eade, came off the wing. That try should never have been scored, but Daryl Halligan always in a position to receive the ball.
Yeah, I think he's proved this year, not the first bloke to say this either, but he's proved this year a lot of criticism of Daryl Halligan, that all he can do is kick goals. But I think Peardy would have to agree, and everyone would have to agree this year, he's proved that he's a fine wing three-quarter.
Canterbury will wrap up the club championship with this first grade win. They're in the semis in all three grades for the first time since 1970. So they have had a champion year. Now McCracken. And McCracken gets it away to Halligan. And on the sideline, Terry Lambs with Debbie Spillane.
Terry, this is a bit unusual. You've got Jacko's judgment, but you're going to the sheds for a bit of treatment, so we've got you early. What's the problem?
Oh, I just got a knock in the first half. I think it's just the cork. I hope so. Probably Monday I'll have x-rays.
Is this on the arm, the broken arm?
Yeah, on the same one. I was just, I didn't go into a few tackles in there because I thought I might have hurt it a bit more, but I got all movement in my arm, so just precaution, that's all.
Hope it hasn't taken the gloss off the big 304?
No, I'll have a few beers now.
Okay. And what about, you know, with 304 games, it's more than anyone's ever played. Do you think there's anything you know now that you didn't know when you played, say, 204?
No, I know the shortcuts, that's all I know now.
The shortcut to the dressing room. Yeah, you've scored 2 tries today, which was the same as you scored in your very first grade game. Were they under instructions to look for you when they were making breaks?
No, I was just lucky enough. It was a good ball by Jason Williams and a kick out by Jason Smith, and lucky enough to be on the ball when we scored a try. So there's a few. I thought Darren Britt played well today.
The defence, you were keeping them to 0 until you came off the field. Was that an important thing for you to try and minimise the score for West today?
Yeah, this was a stepping stone for the semi-finals, and hopefully we can keep it up.
What's the strength of the team for the semis? What's this team's real strength?
Well, at the moment it's not our defence. You know, we're struggling a little bit. I think we just got to control the ball a little bit more when we got it. But I think our camaraderie is pretty close. We're all very good mates out there, and I think that could be our strength. Hopefully we can get it through.
Okay, we'll go and get that treatment because we want to see you in a couple of weeks in the finals.
Thanks, Debbie.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Terry Lamb. Thanks, Debbie Spillane. And I'll tell you what, everyone will be keeping a close eye on the x-rays on that arm. That'll be the big news to come out of this game. The fact that Canterbury have wrapped up the minor premiership might play second fiddle to the x-rays on Terry Lamb's arm to make sure it's okay. And also that report earlier in the match on Dean Pay for allegation of biting, it appeared. What about, in the meantime, we saw a 48-metre attempt by Daryl Halligan just fall short, so he is fallible. Canterbury looking for one more try in the last couple of minutes of this match. Dimmock is with the ball. Now Darren Britt, who has played so well.
Yeah, he's
given a rap by his captain a moment ago.
He's had a fantastic game, Darren Britt.
Oh, now Polamatta, he's got a...
As has this guy.
He certainly has, and back inside to Wilson. The last pass is ruled okay, and it's a fair try right underneath the post to Scott Wilson. Jacko, if your judgment has gone to Terry Lamb, Polamatta's got to be close to second.
Well, I think, you know, perhaps there might have been a little bit of sentiment in there, Warren, but he has had a good game, Terry. He scored 2 tries and set one up, but this man's been in everything as well, Craig Polamatta. You watch his footwork here, he just throws a great dummy. Great speed off the mark and strength. Gets rid of Andrew Lead. See you later, mate. And Scotty Wilson, as per usual, always backing up Scotty. Tremendous at doing that. And Canterbury-Bankstown finish off with 2 good tries.
Yes, well, they're back to what they did so well in the first half here. Some brilliant passing, some lovely offloading.
Darren Britt involved again there.
Brilliant ability to get those passes away to men in a better position, and there's always support coming. A lovely last pass there
flopped up there by Pollamouta to Scott Wilson. And the kick is through from right in front of the post. Daryl Halligan was never going to miss that one. So Canterbury, it's a little embarrassing for West now, maybe not deserved, but Canterbury 40 lead West 12.
Yeah, Darren Britt showing that he's primed for a very big effort in the playoff series. He just throws a loose one back. But look at Pollamouta here. Bill Dunn goes to sleep, really. Should have got his own house in order first. And Scotty Wilson over for a try, as he's done so many times this year. But that's the end of the game today.
A wholehearted, dominating performance from Canterbury stands them in good stead to go into the semi-finals after a week's break. And a 40 points to 12 win. Well, they couldn't have done more today because West did come at them, particularly in that, well, right through the 80 minutes, not just the first half. Canterbury had to earn that win, and they really put them away in fine style.
Yeah, they certainly did, Warren. There's some stuff to work, some parts of their game to work on, Canterbury. You know, I think a little bit of their go-forward play could improve, but they've got 2 weeks to get it together. There'll be 2 tough weeks, I'd imagine. They can sit back next Saturday and Sunday now and watch. Well, it looks like it could be either, well, you'd have to say North will probably replace either Canberra or Manly on Sunday.
And Debbie Spillane has Jason Smith with her.
Jason, how do you feel about that as a hit out with a couple of weeks to the finals for you?
It was pretty good. We lacked off in the first 10 minutes of the second half, but we finished off pretty strongly, I thought.
And your own game, that first try that you helped set up with Jason Williams was pretty impressive.
Yeah, we've been working on it, training for the past week. We knew the wingers stayed up in the line, they didn't drop back, so we worked on that during the week, and it paid off.
Okay, John Peard standing by with Jim Serdaris. Thanks for talking to us, Jason.
Yeah, well, Jim Serdaris, I thought you played very well today, Jim. How's the feeling in regards to next year?
Oh, yeah, obviously, you know, we're a bit disappointed we didn't win the game, but, you know, we've got a new coach coming in, Tommy, and hopefully it can all work out next year for us. You know, we're looking forward to be coached under Tommy. And as I said, it's a bit disappointing we went out in a losing note, but I'm sure we can bounce back next year.
Right, you're playing against quite a few old mates out there today. You've got some talented players with the ball. You think that they'll be minor premiers? How do you rate them?
I reckon they're a big chance of winning the grand final. If you don't stop their pack, well, they're going to make plenty of inroads. Jason Smith's a great player, and you know, they all can offload in the forwards, and they've got Terry Lamb out running things out wide, so I think they're going to be very difficult to beat in the semi-finals.
Thanks, Jim, and good luck with the Kangaroos. You haven't had a chance to impress, but I'd like to see you there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Back to you, Warren.
So Canterbury scoring 7 tries to 2 and 6 goals to 2. For Canterbury, 2 to Terry Lamb, 2 to Halligan, 1 to Hughes, Williams and Wilson. Halligan 6 from 8, and for West 2 tries to Pearson, and Lee's kicking 2 from 2. So that's the last of our Saturday afternoons as far as live coverage.